Well, good morning, traders. Welcome to followmetrades.com, Beyond the Noise live session. And we're here on Saturday, October 12th, 2024. Make sure you can locate the chat box on the Zoom platform there. So you're absolutely welcome to type in questions, comments as we go along. And at the end, be happy to analyze any symbols that you are interested in trading. So make sure you can find that. All right, so let's just get going here, and let's find out what we should be watching for. First, let's recap last week. So last week, October 7th through the 24th, or 7th through the 11th, right? The S&P 500 set all-time highs on Wednesday and then again on Friday. And let's just look at a chart. Whenever we talk about it, we want to see it. So here's the S&P 500. If we just take a look, that's we've had a 2-year bull market as we approach the end of 2024. And if we zoom in on recent price action, we can see here Wednesday put in an all-time closing high, and then again on Friday. So it's been an amazing bull market run for sure. Okay. Part of that, what drove the market, CPI, Consumer Price Index, which is inflation, came in at higher than expected on Thursday, but not a lot. Unemployment claims came in higher than forecasted on Thursday. The market pulled back a little bit on that. And then on Friday, the Producer Price Index, so the input of materials and services, right, that ultimately affects consumer prices, came in as forecasted. So, CPI was a little higher, PPI as forecast, so it wasn't as bad as people thought maybe it was. The price of oil is heading up, but we're at 75.50. That's a long way from the 1-year highs put in April of 87. So far it's not hurting the overall market too much, but it certainly could, in the future. Technology and financials were the market leaders for the week, and Wells Fargo kind of led off earnings season. Q3 reporting. They had a earnings beat on Friday, and they jumped 5.61%. So that was good news. And then utilities and real estate lagged the overall market. Those are the weakest sectors. And just notable one company, Tesla. They had promoted this big robo-taxi event, and it was disappointing. People who attended were not impressed, and Tesla got crushed, down almost 9%. So in terms of where, just an easy place to get this sector information, if you're not aware of it, this company, SPDR, they have, some of the biggest sector ETFs, right? They break the S&P 500 down to 11 sectors. They put representative companies into these ETFs, and they're the ones who have the SPY, which is the S&P 500. And they have a sector tracker, which is a really nice graphical representation. And if we just look at last 5 trading days last week, you can see the breakdown of the different sectors here, and you can see financials, of course, had real strength. Toward the close, industrials came in also, right? So some real strength there, and then in terms of weakness, utilities and real estate coming in pretty weak. So that's where I got those numbers, and again, technology was pretty strong. So that's a really useful website if you're not aware of it. So that's a quick recap of last week. And now let's look at what's going to happen here in the upcoming week, starting Monday, October 14th. So Monday is Columbus Day. The markets are open, but a lot of the bond markets, banks are closed. So, kind of half of things are shut down, not the actual stock market. So it could be a slow day on Monday. And I mentioned Wells Fargo, kicked off earnings on Friday, and now Q3 earnings season is going to kick off this coming week, and really get ramping up, and that'll, over the next, 3-4 weeks, it'll really peak. But we got United Airlines, JB Hunt, right? Airline, trucking, Wednesday is Alcoa, KMI, PPG. These are huge industrial conglomerate companies. So kind of representative of the overall economy. Thursday, we got Netflix, and Friday, Fastenal. Okay. And then on Thursday, we have the retail sales report. And again, happy to share, what's a good source to get, calendar of upcoming financial reports. And this site is called Forex Factory. They have a calendar you can link to, and you can then filter it. They show kind of global stuff. And, this is obviously focused on Forex. I'm focused on equities, but the calendar is useful for all of it. So if we look at what's coming up next week, right? Monday's a bank holiday. We've got some of the Fed governors speaking. Sometimes they can move the market, although, the chairman Powell typically is the big mover. These are flagged, in terms of potential impact to the market, right? Gray, yellow, orange, and red. And, the red ones typically, if there's a surprise, they will move the market, right? So core retail sales, which excludes food and energy, and then the overall retail sales, right? How's the overall market? How are things selling, right? That's an important report, and it could absolutely move the market. Then we got unemployment claims as well. So people are looking. The Fed did a 50 basis point rate cut at their last meeting. People, okay, what are they going to do? They're going to do more this year. Another 50 or 25, or stand pat. So all these reports and this economic data kind of feeds into that decision, and people kind of try to take the reports and go, okay, this is what the Fed's going to do. And if the economy is strong and, low unemployment, strong retail sales, maybe the Fed's going to hold off on cutting rates. They don't want to over stimulate it and keep inflation going. I think that's the thinking there. All right. So things to watch out for also in the upcoming week. You may be aware there's a presidential election coming up. So I've seen, there's typically what they call an October surprise. Each campaign tries to, throw out a gotcha for the other side pretty late in the cycle. Some analysts, some writers have said, hey, the hurricanes were the October surprises this time, right? And there's lots of dialogue about whether the response was good and appropriate or not, and a lot of finger pointing, right? Trying to use that to influence, people's decision in the election. Also, what companies are being hurt? Insurance companies come to mind. Maybe construction companies, are going to benefit from the cleanup and rebuilding. So, there could be fallout in terms of winners and losers in the equities market there. There's always the chance here of the escalation of the situation in the Middle East. And then, we're kicking off earnings season. Are there surprises to the upside, to the downside? So I like to watch, as the earnings reports come out. And, the individual companies obviously are affected, but then, they can affect the whole sector, or upstream, downstream participants in that sector. So it's worth watching. And, if there's big surprises, that can create opportunities for us for trading. And then, of course, if there's any surprise in the retail report, super strong, it's, maybe the Fed's not going to do any more cuts, or if it's weak, maybe they will. So these things have an impact. So that's kind of a snapshot of what I'm watching in the market in the coming week. And we have a live session daily, very similar to this, where we look at the market and events and, okay, what is happening, right? And what kind of opportunities is that creating for us? So we do that Monday through Thursday. We kick it off at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. That's part of this service with stock and option picks, which includes the Real Traders Club Live. So at the end of the session here, I'll show you how you could participate in that if you are interested. Okay. So what trades am I interested in right now? So we do have, as part of this Real Traders Club, what we call a watch list. every day we are watching the market. And we're running a variety of scanning tools and techniques to identify trade candidates. And then the ones that are like, hey, this one's kind of interesting. And if this happens, if it gets to this price level or whatever, there's some criteria. Then we would be interested in trading that. And so we got these candidates. Candidates are just that. We're not ready to pull the trigger yet. We've established a trigger level. If it's hit, and we'll go back and look at it. Well, hey, does that look good still? Do we want to take that trade? Right. And, if it's taken too long to trigger and now earnings are coming up, we don't want to trade into earnings, or, so it's not a blind, oh, it triggered, go take it. It means go look at it. But we've got a pretty good list here of candidates. And then, right now, hey, we're a 2-year bull market. We've got a few short candidates, but not a lot because the overall market's going up. And then this is a list of ones that have triggered. Right? They met the criteria. They look pretty good. And some, in my pick service, I send out 2 or 3 alerts a week for trades, but there are more, right? There are more. So people want to participate in more trades, apply their own criteria, be a little more aggressive. They look at this triggered list and they may decide to go take those trades. And we track the performance. Some of these are doing pretty well. Okay, so we got this watch list. And then for today, I'll narrow that down. The ones that, kind of the cream of the crop, the ones that I'm watching the most closely. And then there's 5 that I really like right now: SMR, PayPal, CCL, AMD, XOM, and that spans a very large swath across sectors, right? SMR is involved in nuclear energy. PayPal, of course, is PayPal Financial Transactions. Carnival Cruise, AMD is a chip company. XOM, of course, is a oil company. So, quite a swath there. So let's go look at these charts and see what they look like and why we like them. Okay. SMR. All right, when I analyze a chart, I always, I want to go big picture. So I start off zoomed out, looking at a couple of years of data. Right? You can see, they got totally crushed, and then they're in a completely new trend, and just a very, very simple Elliott wave, look. I don't get all geeky about it, the way some practitioners do. Hey man, there was a really, really big move up. That's impulsive. There was a correction into a Fibonacci zone, and now it's starting up again, so that we can look at a Fibonacci extension zone. But wow, this thing could go to new highs, right? And it looks like it's happening, right? Big move up, correction. It is heading up. That's a confirmed uptrend. And I'm actually in. We've already pulled the trigger. I've sent an alert to the subscribers, right? And what we like here was, it's clearly in an uptrend right now. It's got high, higher, low, high, higher, low, high, higher, low, and just made a new high. And, most recently there was a little channel here, right? Went up to here, pulled back to here, and then it has broken out just barely, but it did. And that can be really, really big news. So what we took an entry right here at 1314, and then we've got an exit point. If it gets down below 1070, that means it's going below this channel. We'll want to bail on that trade, go ahead and take a very small loss. And then a target up here in the middle of this extension zone of 19 bucks. So we always look at a trade like this. The first question is, what's the reward to risk? So the risk is, our entry point to the stop or the exit. I use the term stop. I don't have a stop market order because I'm typically trading options anyway. And you don't want to have a stop market order on options, and you got to find a way to correlate the option price to the share price. I just get an alert, right? You can see I've got in Thinkorswim an alert set, bang, it hit the stop. Okay, let's go look at it. Let's get out of this thing gracefully. So that the risk is from here to here, right? How much would I lose if the price goes down to here? And you can calculate that when you take your trade. The reward is from the entry to the target, right? And you can see this is like 3 times bigger. So that's what I like. I like a good, strong reward to risk ratio on the trade, and then a high probability that it's going to work out. And then we go look, what's the earnings date? We're not going to hold it through earnings because that could be, it could, gap up, gap down. Who knows? There's too much uncertainty with that. So it's 11/7. We got 3 weeks. I think we have time to get a win on this trade. So I like this one. That one's a go now, and I've already alerted the subscribers to SMR. All right, PayPal is another one that we're in, and there's still time, right? Still time to get into this one because it's very close to our entry. We're in a little bit of profit, right? But the target is still up here, so the reward to risk is still, that looks like 2.5, close to 3 to 1 using that same method, right? This distance compared to this distance. Their earnings are coming up on the 29th. So we got just about 2 weeks. There's time to still go ahead and get a nice win out of this. And so I did send the alert. We're in that one as part of our service. And when we do this, when I send an alert, you can just go buy the shares, obviously. But I also provide a suggested option contract. I like to, on a long trade, I go buy in the money calls. If it's a short trade, I buy in the money puts. We keep it real simple. But I think that's a good looking trade. There's still room to get into it. So PayPal. The other one, CCL, Carnival Cruise. So we're not in this one yet. And what we're looking for, so if you can see this thing, always we want to look at the big picture, right? It's been a little volatile, right? It got crushed way back there, the pandemic, when everybody else did. It recovered, then it went down, and now it's been creeping its way up, pretty big swings, but moving its way up. And if you look at this line, this is what caught my attention, right? Look at these resistance levels. Price came up to here, reversed, up to here, reversed, up to the same point 3 times. That's pretty significant, right? The market's telling us something about what they think about this. But now on this move up, it broke through. Oh, well, that's new. And so I don't like to take the first break on something like this. What I like to do is wait and let it break up, come back down. And quite often when we see such a strong resistance level like this, when price does break up through it, that resistance can turn into support. So it goes up through it. When it comes back down, if it reverses somewhere around this prior resistance level and it becomes support, comes down to here and then reverses back up again, like, okay, we got a new thing happening and potentially a whole new trend. So that's when reverse, come down, find support, head back up. Then I'd be a buyer and I'd want to trade CCL. So we're going to keep watching that. Fairly low price, $20, right? And so, if this thing moves, if you catch a $2 move, that's 10%, right? That could be more. So that's definitely interesting to me. AMD, I'm happy to trade AMD. I had a long career at Intel Corporation. Obviously, they are competitors. So I'll never buy an AMD processor, just can't do it. But I'll trade their stock, right? For sure. And it's kind of the same, it's very similar to the CCL chart. It had this pretty good resistance area, right? Broke up through it, and it's already done what we were looking for, right? Big break here out of some prior resistance, a pullback down to the Ichimoku cloud. I use a simple version of that. And you can see right at the top, this green area is the Ichimoku cloud, and this heavier white line is the 200-day moving average. Both of those are coinciding. And as this went up, it came down, it found support, and it's reversing. So Monday, if this still is heading up, I like that. Now they have earnings probably coming up at the end of this month. So we got a little time. We got a couple of weeks. So, and if we take it close to earnings, like I said, I'm going to do the call options. We can get what's called an IV rise. As earnings approaches, the volatility of the contract pricing can go up. And so if we get into it now, even if price only moves a little, the price of the contract, the premium can increase just based on that increasing implied volatility. So that can be interesting too. So AMD, if it's still up on Monday, if it hasn't run away, right? you know, if we come here Monday morning, oh, it's up 15%. So, missed it. But if it's up a bit, yeah, we'll be into AMD. All right. XOM, ExxonMobil, right? Energy, of course. Same, you know, let's go big picture, right? So they've been in a pretty good uptrend, and they've been just going back and forth, back and forth. And all of a sudden, they're putting in new highs, right? And we could evaluate this as a simple, you know, Elliott wave exercise. Hey, an impulsive move, a correction. Now it's heading up. What do the extensions look like? And they look something like this, giving us a target zone up in here, right? Up, you know, around 132 or something like that. And if we were to get in here at 121-ish, that's not bad, right? Go get $10 on a $120 stock, that's like an 8% gain. And if you're doing the options, that's probably going to be a 75 to 100% gain. So yeah, I like that. Earnings on 11/1, so we got a couple weeks, you know, big breakout, pullback. It wasn't really too, well, it was actually. Let's draw that in, right? Here was the prior resistance level, right? These peaks, and it came down to it. So that is looking good. So if it's still strong on Monday at the open, I think XOM could be a real good candidate. And let's just for fun, you know, so again, we're going to evaluate it Monday and see if it's still up. Nothing has fallen apart here. But, you know, so we got earnings on 11/1. I said we're not going to hold anything through earnings. Okay. So what contract would I buy? We're sitting here at 123. Right, XOM. So there's no point when we typically want to trade the monthly. You know, if they got good volume, good open interest on the weeklies, maybe we'll try to dial in that date a little bit more. In fact, on XOM, they have weeklies. Here's a November one. There's no use in paying for more time that we don't need because we're not going to hold it through. And we just go quickly look at the open interest. Oh, yeah, I've got hundreds every strike. So this is good. We could trade the weekly, right? Current price 123, right? So we go look, right? 123 is just in the money. It's got a delta of 0.55. I think I want to go another strike. So the 122 got a delta of 60. Delta means how much is the price of the option contract going to increase for a $1 move, right? So you want a little bit higher delta because that's what we're trying to do. The, you know, going in the money with a long call is really, it's almost just like buying the shares on margin, right? That's what you're doing. Okay. You know, if you go out of the money, it's cheaper, but you get less move. So we want to get this, you know, we want to get a pretty good delta without having to pay too much, right? So we can get these for $3.95 a contract. And in terms of risk management, what we do on the contracts is just go, hey, you know, don't spend more than 2% of your account on premium. So if something, you know, totally breaks down, you know, an option contract could lose 100% of its value. Typically in a near term like this, with a stable company like this, you're not going to lose 100%, but you just go, okay, you know, that's $400 rounded per contract, right? How many contracts could I buy? What's 2% of my account? Right, you got a $100,000 account. That's $2,000. 4 of those, you know, okay, I could do 5 contracts. Right, that's the quick, simple, easy math for risk control. Right? So, you know, don't get greedy. Right, don't bet the farm. You could lose the farm. Typically, on like XOM, we're going to have a stop established, and let's go ahead and put it in. So we're going to put it one tick below this reversal point. So here's the reversal point. The low is 120.80. We're going to go 120.79. Make it red. Danger, right? Okay, so from, you know, if we go, hey, Monday, it looks good. We go take this trade. We buy that option contract, and this comes down and hits the stop. We are not going to lose 100%, right? And we're going to lose some fraction, some portion of that, right? But if we've sized that position, used, that rule I just talked about, if we put 2 grand into the trade, we might lose 4 or 500. As opposed to, hey, if this thing works out, we go hit the target, right? We're going to make 100%, maybe up to 200% because we're leveraged. So that's a good reward to risk ratio. All right. Looks like George has some, he PM'd me, some symbols he'd like to look at. So let's look at George's Generac. I think, oh, so GRNC, Clean Energy. Is that the one you wanted, George? I saw the symbol and thought it was going to be Generac, but it's not. I'm not sure if this is really what you wanted. I'm going to jump and let you respond to that, okay? Oracle. All right, Larry Ellison's company. Well, they've been doing well lately, wouldn't you say? They're a big player. They have been a big player in databases and in the cloud, and now AI, right? And they obviously had a breakout here on earnings. Just as I look at this big picture, one of the things I don't like to do is chase big trends, right? Because all big trends end at some point. That it's just a reality of the market. Even if they're going to continue on, right? There's always a pullback before it goes and a pullback, right? They stair step up, and after a really big impulsive move, there's going to be a correction at some point. And do I want to just jump in and then, oh, here comes the pullback, right? So I wait for the pullback, and then if things still look good and it reverses, then I would be interested in joining the next phase. But after it's run straight up, pretty much, I'm gonna hold on Oracle at this point for me. Our rules. GDX, I believe that's the gold miners. All right. So they did pull back, and they pulled back right. This is the 200-day moving average. This is the 50-day moving average, right in the middle of the cloud. So that was and look at this pattern. Right? Up, down, pretty close to the 50, up, down to pretty close to the 50, up, down. This is a highly symmetrical, predictable pattern. So that actually could be good. I like that. Now what we will do is go, in terms of a target, we do it a little bit differently. We use a trend line. This is a sloping upward channel, is what this is. Kind of like this. So we would go, well, the target is going to be somewhere around here, right? If we were to get in here, and the stop would be here, do I have reward to risk on this trade? Yeah, this is bigger, probably 1.5. Not huge, but it's bigger. Now this is a gold miner, right? So they're tied somewhat to gold, not perfectly, but somewhat. You can see gold's done kind of a similar thing. It's pulled back here. Gold's heading up. You just kind of want to cross check, right? But yeah, GDX, I'm making a note. Kind of like that one, George. Just a moment. And some of I showed you that watch list earlier. Quite a bit of what we ends up on the watch list, just like this. One of the attendees goes, "Hey, what do you think about this?" I think it's pretty good. All right, Uber. Not Uber. All right, Uber shot up on Friday. coincidentally, that's the same time that Tesla did a face plant. I'm not sure if Uber's up on Robotaxi or whatever. Tesla leaves Uber plenty of road. I think that is tied to the Robotaxi thing. All right, big gap up. Quick look at big picture. Okay, up to all-time highs. Okay, you had a big run up here, correction here, high, higher, low, high, higher, low, high, all-time highs. Okay, now we got some perspective. Again, 10% gap up on Friday. Monday, do I just want to go jump in? No. I would like to see it. We've analyzed this so many times. Let's get rid of some of these lines. So these gaps are interesting, and what they can do is, gap is a big break between the prior session's closing price and then this session's opening price, right? And you can see typically these bars overlap a little bit. When you get this gap, it means, hey, something big happened, right? These gaps can be a support area. It means price can come down. So that, the gap means the market just repriced this company, right? Probably based on, their relationship with Tesla or the opportunity that Tesla created. So it can often come down, and it's almost like, a prior high, right? So I like to see it come down, find support, reverse, and then see about taking it up. Okay? Just jumping in here, I know, just based on history, it's just a fact that after a big move, there's a pullback, right? Just my luck, go jump in, and now you could, it could continue and you miss it, but I'm willing to trade that. Okay. And then, yeah, typos. Let's get Generac, GNRC. All right. So Generac, what we fondly refer to as a bottom feeder, right? They were up here at over $500 all-time high, and then completely fell out of favor and then bumped along here on the bottom. And now it looks like they're starting to come out. So now that we have kind of the big picture, they got a lot of upside, right? So what's the current story on Generac? So they have, out of this channel, here's a real outlier. So we're gonna throw the outlier out. Let's just look at the top of the channel here. Right, that's pretty much the top of the recent channel. Move this stuff out of the way. We've traded Generac. Got some drawings here. Right, there's pretty much the bottom of the channel. It broke out and it came back. Resistance now becomes support. So I like it. I think it could take off. And there's a question mark, meaning that earnings date's not confirmed, but it's going to be close within a day or two, that probably on the 30th. So we got 2 weeks, we're running out of time, but we could get that IV rise that I talked about too. So I actually like it. You have to watch it close based on that, the shorter time frame. But I do like that. I think there's an opportunity. We can come look at it Monday, see if we can get a quick swing trade on that one. Okay. So I don't see any other requests coming in. If there's any symbols you'd like to look at, if there's any questions that you have, type them into the chat box there and we'll address it. Meanwhile, if you're interested in what we're doing here, again, we do this Monday through Thursday in the morning, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. We analyze the overall market, we scan for trades, we look at trades, we take trades, we monitor them, and we provide a watch list. And then when, it's like, hey, I run this stock options pick service. When there's a trade, alert going out, I send an alert to the subscribers. There's a website with all the trading rules and tools for risk management. You get an email, and we also use the Telegram app if you want to get an alert on your phone. So that is available. You're here. and have a kind of an introductory offer if you are interested. Let me get the link, and I'll post the link in the chat box. So you can see that. There's a link. All right, so the list price, for a year subscription to this, the alerts and the Real Traders Club live sessions is $647. Most people here are new, and so here's kind of a flash sale offer, introductory offer, $147 for a year. It's an 80% discount. And my thinking is, if you haven't tried it before, um, I'd like to have a low cost, low barrier entry offer, and then I think you're going to love it. I think you're going to participate and hopefully profit like we have been, and then you would be happy to renew in future years at the list price. So I think it's a good deal for both of us, right? There's no indicators or software needed. Just you just need a funded brokerage account. We offer we alert on 2 to 3 picks per week. We have this live session Monday through Thursday, similar to this. You don't have to attend. You can get the alerts either way, real time. And if you can't make that time, we record them. You get a link to look at them. You get alerts via email or now it's Telegram app. You get some tools for risk management. I offer a one-on-one consultation to get you started. And we have several training topics that are recorded, a library that you have access to that people have told us they found very, very valuable. So there it is, full year, 147 for people who have attended this session, and hope to see you there. So gonna go ahead and stop the recording because we're gonna put this on YouTube and put a link. Don't want dead time there. We're gonna stop the recording.